Hey guys, today we're going to be reviewing Chop Chop Soccer. It's from the makers of Chop Chop Ninja, Chop Chop Runner, and Chop Chop Tennis. This Chop Chop series is starting to look like Mario. In one game he saves a princess, in another they're playing tennis, and now they're playing soccer. Mario actually doesn't have a running game that I know of. But I wouldn't be surprised if in the future we saw Chop Chop Party, Chop Chop Karting, and Chop Chop Brawl. Now if you don't know much about soccer, it's not really an issue in this game. This game is more about fun than rules. It actually doesn't have any rules that I know of. You can kick the ball out of bounds and you can trip your opponent. There will be no penalties for either one. Now, of the Chop Chop series, I've only played Chop Chop Ninja. And in that game, you learned as you went along. That's how they show you the tutorials. Every level you got something new to play with. In this game, they dedicate a whole section to tutorials. Since the controls are gestures, they want you to get used to them before you start playing, and they give you unlimited time to do so in the training. They teach you how to move around with the ball, how to play one-on-one against another opponent so you can learn to dribble past them. And then they also train you on how to pass the ball to your teammates. But I'll talk more about the controls later. They have a single match mode where you play a match against the computer at a difficulty of your choosing. It can be either easy, medium, hard, or expert. You get to choose from one of 12 teams to play. And you can also set the time limit for each match, as well as choose the stadium you want to play in. There's also tournament mode where you play one of 4 tournaments. You start out with the tournament in Smallville, USA, which is one of the stadiums that are available in the game, and then you unlock the rest as you keep beating them. The difficulty is set, so don't expect to beat them all on easy. Here you can only choose what team you want to play, and then you're off to the tournament. The matches are 3 versus 3 aside from the goalie. The goalie you don't really control until they get the ball in their hands, but you do control one of 3 players at one time. The players run towards the ball themselves, so you don't really have to worry about that. You just have to worry about which gestures you're going to be using while you're playing. As I've mentioned before, this being a mobile game, it's something I expect to consume 5 minutes of my life when I'm really bored at work. It is very easy to do that with this game. Since it has a single match mode, you can choose anywhere from 2 to 5 minutes to play. The only way you would go over the 5 minutes is if you go into sudden death, and then that's not really much of a problem. All you have to do is score. The controls are a big part of this game, and actually the series in general. Game Rising prides themselves in not using any virtual joysticks or tilting in their games. What they use instead are gesture controls. In this game, specifically, the gesture controls seem kind of similar to one another. The difference being the end of the gesture, whether it's going to a teammate or a goalpost. Like I said, the tutorials are not timed, so they give you all the time in the world to get used to the controls, or how you like to play. Now, they say the controls are intuitive enough to know what you want to do. Sometimes this is false. Maybe it's just me. When I pass the ball to some of my teammates, they immediately kick it to anywhere else instead of running around with the ball like I want them to. But like I said, that might just be me. It might just be a small bug in the game as well. It's nothing too bad. It's only cost me 1 game. But other than that, the controls are intuitive. They are some of the best controls I've seen for any game in the App Store. And having no joypad or not having to tilt the game is a lot easier than, well, having a joypad and having to tilt the game. The game is mixed between 3D and 2D graphics. The characters and the ball and the whole field is in 3D, and then the backgrounds and everything else is in 2D. The graphics aren't going to wow you or anything, but they're not going to bother you. They're clean graphics, they're cute because of the choppies. You only notice some stretching on some of the fields that you play on, not all of them. There is one bug that I've noticed. Every time I make a goal, or not every time, at least 80% of the time that I make a goal, the ball ends up behind the net somehow. Not really too big of a deal, just something that catches my eye every once in a while. You can choose from 3 different camera angles to play the game. There's action, there's side, and then there's front facing, I think. And personally, I like side. It's like most soccer games, you're just viewing it from the side, and it's the one where you see mostly everything. On action, it's going to try to follow the ball more than it's going to follow anything else. And then I forgot what the other camera mode is, but it'll be on the screen behind me. Multitasking. This game supports multitasking, and I didn't know it until I got an email I needed to respond to. Once I got back into the game, I was right there in the tournament where I left off. I was not expecting that. I was actually really happy when that happened because it's something I've gotten used to with the new iPhone. And I didn't have to start the tournament all over, so I was really happy about that too. Unlike Chop Chop Ninja and Chop Chop Runner, this game does not support open feint, so there's no leaderboards or achievements. Not that Ninja had achievements either, but I do know that Runner had a few of them. They did state that aside from more teams being added later on, there would be more surprises, so I wouldn't be surprised if they added open feint support. Another thing that would have made this great game even better would be the addition of multiplayer. If they were to add that, whether it be through Bluetooth or 3G and Wi-Fi, that would be great. I'd love to face my friends off in this. This is just a very fun version of soccer, and I know it'd be fun to play against other human beings. I'm going to give this game a 4.5 out of 5 just because of some of the similarities between the gestures and the controls. But other than that, it's a great game. Lots of fun gameplay. The graphics are cute. They don't bother you. They don't get you dizzy. It's a great mobile game. You can just pick it up and waste 5 minutes of your life anywhere. It is 99 cents right now, rated 4 and up. Get it while it's hot.